Do you know what really sucks? Is sitting down to edit your project and realizing that you have gaps in your coverage or shots missing. You need to have a really good, specific, and detailed shot list. Head over to filmmakerssecrets.com/shot list, SHOTLIST, to get a killer shot list template along with some training where I show you step by step exactly how to use it.
When you hear a song or watch a movie that you can relate to, it's like, oh, someone gets it. And it's not just me. I'm not alone.
Filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, and drive universal change in this world. So how does a filmmaker thrive in an environment that is almost intentionally designed to bring you down? That is the question, and this podcast reveals the answer. What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets podcast, episode number 29. And I'm extremely excited to welcome my guest, Kelly Pantaleoni, who is an amazing actress, super talented. So Kelly, go ahead and say what's up to our filmmakers and reveal the one filmmaker secret that you've been keeping from us.
G'day, everybody. So my one filmmaker secret is not so much of a secret because you all have it in your very own hands, probably right now, if you're listening to this, and it's this device. Doesn't matter what device you have. It's your phone. That is the secret to unlocking complete creative freedom if you utilize this tool correctly.
That's so beautifully simplistic, Kelly. Thank you so much. I think a lot of people get hung up on tool trapping, which is what I talk about all the time. You need that cinema camera. You need this light to shoot the project. You don't. You have everything you need at your disposal. It's all about being resourceful, not about the resources that you have or you don't. That's amazing. Thank you for that little nugget. So take me way back before you knew you wanted to become an actress, you wanted to tell stories as a filmmaker. What was that one little spark that got you the inspiration and this confirmation that, yes, I want to tell stories. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be an actress. Tell me that story.
I think it probably comes back to growing up on a farm in the outback of Australia, being very isolated and disconnected from society, growing up on a farm an hour out of town, no cell service or anything. And this was kind of like, I sound like I'm aging myself here, but in Australia, we're a little bit behind in technology, especially when you get into the outback. So this was pretty much before the internet as well. So the only connection I really had to the outside world was movies. So I watched a lot of movies back on VHS. And I thought I wanted to be a director because I love to create and have control over things. But then I also wanted to be an FBI agent and a pilot and a vet and a horse racer. Like there were so many different things that I wanted to be. Yeah. And then I realized, hey, I could do it all as an actress. So I guess it just came from that passion of watching movies and wanting to be in them and getting excited about the world, watching them and just wanting to be involved.
Was there a particular film that inspired you that kind of had that launching point?
There's a few. It's really hard for me to narrow it down, but the classics like Titanic, Forrest Gump, Moulin Rouge, which is actually celebrating its 20-year anniversary. So yeah, just really great films like that got me really excited about life.
That's amazing. So you're watching these VHS tapes, you're being kind and rewinding. So the next time you pop it into your VHS player, you can start from the beginning. As you're geeking out and learning about filmmaking and how to compose shots and also getting in front of the camera and acting, what was sort of the transition moment where you found a focus to where you knew kind of the kinds of stories that you want to tell, you knew sort of the roles that you wanted to fill on a film set, whether that be in front of the camera or behind? Talk to me about that sort of moment of transition from just learning and gathering as much knowledge as you can towards actually creating your own stories and telling the stories that you want to tell.
Yeah, I think that transition actually came sadly from trauma and a lot of loss and grief. And my way of coping as an artist was to transmute that energy into creating something productive, the silver lining out of loss. Otherwise, it was honestly just going to destroy me. And I didn't want it to destroy me like mental health had destroyed another friend. So I decided to just make something in memory of losing my friend Lindsay Hawley. And that's why I made a movie on mental health. And I guess it comes from having so many emotions and such deep emotions that I think unresolved and ignored would have been incredibly destructive for me. And I want to highly encourage people that are dealing with trauma and loss and grief to really use that energy as your fuel and your motivation to do something that can help change the world and help people that are suffering from that same issue that you are. Okay, so that is really what.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just excited because whenever I meet a person for the first time and they're able to be vulnerable with me, despite me asking the simplest questions, I really commend you for that. I think it takes a lot of courage. And that's amazing because us as artists and creators and filmmakers, we need to tap into those emotions because people don't buy, in the words of Simon Sinek, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The audience might forget the title of your film. They may even forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Can you talk a little bit about that, the emotion that, you're evoking as a storyteller?
100% it's about how you feel. I can't tell you how many, quotes or words of wisdom I have bouncing around in my head that I have no idea where they came from, but it was the feeling that they left me with. And it's that feeling, that resonance, that kind of echo in my heart that keeps me going. And that's what I want to help other people with. It's, the movies that I'm making, and they're vastly different because we can get into the second one that I made most recently, the comedy. It's not even necessarily about what I'm saying. Like you said, it's how I'm saying it and how I'm making people feel is the most important part. So whether it's a movie on mental health or a comedy that just adds levity to a situation so people can laugh and feel good about themselves, that's the feeling I'm trying to evoke. I think that we're a really numbed out society now, and we could get into such a tangent about our food that we're consuming, the stress that we're under, the chemicals in our environment, what we're doing to the environment. There's so many different aspects that are numbing us out and making us want to disconnect because it hurts too much or because we physically can't even feel it because of, a chemical imbalance or trauma that we've gone through that's unresolved. I think as we start to open up more as a society and start to wake up a little bit more, which I hope the pandemic did, we'll start to feel again. And through feeling, we'll care more about each other, protecting each other and the planet. So it's really important for me to kind of drive right through to the heart because I guess through things that I've been through, I'm a very open vessel, which is really quite painful for my personal life because I feel everything so deeply. But as a friend said, it's a superpower for my profession because then I can really tap into those feelings and emotions that I feel that can hopefully help people feel it for themselves. And, whether it's a comedy that makes them feel good or a drama that just makes them feel seen and heard and gives them the tools to help them through that situation once they've identified it. I think that's the most important part.
Seen and heard and understood, right? That's ultimately, we all want to be accepted, to feel like we're part of a tribe. It goes back to the most primitive, prehistoric kind of lifestyles of people just wanting to be part of something that is greater than themselves, but also something simple, something like people coming together into a tribe and being understood and accepted in that tribe. You mentioned something earlier on, which my ears kind of perked up because it's something I talk about all the time, is that storytellers have this power to change the world. And I always say that, filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, but most importantly, they have this innate power to drive universal change in the world. Do you think that's true? Do filmmakers have that power?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that as actors, artists, and storytellers, we hold this like barometer of how the world is coping. Singers, songwriters, musicians, the Beatles, like these huge powerhouses hold so much responsibility in helping communicate what's happening in society to something tangible and, something that people can grasp onto and also feel, like you said, seen and heard. When you hear a song or watch a movie that you can relate to, it's like, oh, someone gets it. And it's not just me. I'm not alone. So I think it's really important. And I honestly think that a lot of artists have, sorry, that was a dog sneezing. Very cute dog. Bless you.
Bless you.
Many blessings to you. Wow, she's going on a sneezing rant right now. I'm so sorry.
It's allergy season, I think.
It is. Lucky or cute. So I think that we have such a huge responsibility as artists to communicate what's happening in the world, because the news obviously does it in a very stressful, harmful way that is triggering all of our trauma responses. We need art to do the opposite, almost like to trigger the heart response of caring and wanting to create change and feeling passionate and seeing the silver lining, which the news does not do. So I think honestly, like art is the response to the trauma that we're seeing happening in the world, because we can find a way to work through it and to see the silver lining in it. And I think that artists honestly have been dropping the ball on that. I think that, like I mentioned, the Beatles, and there's so many other artists, like I think the hip hop and rap artists of the 90s did an amazing job of using their lyrics as poetry to really inspire people. And musicians these days are, I feel, just going for the money, going for the, catchy bops and the formulaic. And even in movies, we're often going for the formulaic route that we think will make money instead of the real creative, story-driven, message-oriented projects. I think we really need to step up as artists to talk about what's happening in the world and to make a difference.
I love the way your mind works, Kelly. I think that is just so, it's packed with knowledge. I really appreciate you saying that and sharing that with our filmmakers, because I think that in terms to, what am I trying to say? If a filmmaker is truly to listen to what you are saying right now, then they will not hesitate and tell the story that they feel is important. And that's something that I truly believe in. So as we talked about the past, you are now coming up into your own as a storyteller. And there's a project that you did during the pandemic, during all the lockdowns, and it's called 50 Shades of Quarantine. And I absolutely love the title. Can you talk to me about the inception of that project? Where did the idea come from? How did it come about, and how did it go?
Yeah, it was, first of all, thank you. I'm glad that title spoke to you. Oh, yeah. It's because, I wanted to make something that people could just laugh at. And like I said, add levity to a situation, because, we are going to look back at this time, and we've seen it with all of the memes on the internet of how we're just kind of poking fun at it to get through it. And I think we will look back on it one day and be like, how insane was that we went through? And I'm trying to find the funny parts of it, because I think humor is such a great way to work through trauma. And obviously we've got to do our own therapy and real practical tools of getting through trauma as well. But humor is such a great way of being able to talk about it without breaking down over it. And it came very organically. I was in lockdown with my father's family. My dad's American, so he lives in the Bay Area. So I went and spent a few months up there with them. And in that time, I know it's going to sound strange, but I felt such a sigh of relief to have no pressure anymore, no meetings to go to, no auditions, no events to get FOMO over not going to. I just have, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very much about my business and I want to be hustling all the time. So to finally have all of that taken off my shoulders and to think I have no responsibilities, I have no pressure, there's no expectation of me. It actually freed me up so much just to get creative and to do what I wanted to do. All these years, I've just wanted to create my own content, or at least I've known that's what I should be doing. And I felt so much, I think anxiety is energy that's not meant for us. And so when you have something within you that it's not being fulfilled, or you should be doing something, or you want to be doing something and you're not, and it's this energy of like, oh, this isn't right, it's not sticking. That is what I've had for so long. And to finally be able to say, okay, now I can do it, it was such a relief. And so I just put that time into using my improv skills from UCB. I love Saturday Night Live, so I kind of wanted to do some skits like that. Growing up on the farm, like I said, watching movies, and I actually just had this like really weird imagination where I would, because I was an only child for quite a few years as well, so I would just like play with the dolls or play with the fairies out in the bush, like just had this amazing imagination where I could put on these different personas, these different characters. And so I finally put that childhood experience and my improv experience and the things I love watching, like Saturday Night Live and these different sketch comedy series that I grew up watching in Australia, to use. And I just saw the characters that I was seeing in the pandemic, like the vloggers, the makeup chicks, the fitness chicks, the home chefs. And all of these characters are not to just mock them or make fun of them, because they are truly myself. These are all facets of my personality.
That's interesting.
It's like self-deprecating humor. I'm just finding different facets of myself, obviously amping it up and making it very entertaining and silly and having fun with it and going overboard. But these were characters I was seeing and being. I was the fit chick. I was the home chef. But obviously adding elements in there because I don't drink. I'm 2.5 years sober. But I had a friend that was doing these happy hour yoga workouts on Zoom where people were doing yoga and drinking. I was like, that is so funny to me. So I asked her permission if she didn't mind me using that idea, and she was totally cool with it. And that's the thing. It's like just finding these funny moments in life, not taking ourselves too seriously. So I just had a lot of fun with it. And I just, like I said, I used my phone. This was the only tool I needed. It was all I had. And I don't even think I used a tripod. I was just propping this up, like you'll see in the hippie chick. I was propping this up on sticks and logs. I mean, I just made it work. It was really fun.
Resourceful. That's what you were doing. And it's screening at Holly Shorts right now, right?
Yeah. So we just had the Holly Shorts. So it was up with another line of amazing short films, which I was really proud of. And we recently screened in a film festival in Bali. And we're doing the international circuit right now. So I have a link in my Instagram bio on the Holly Shorts page. But I'll be sure to update that with the next screening as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to get all the links from you at the end, and I'll put all of that information in the show notes for this episode. So filmmakers, please make sure to check out all of the links and follow Kelly across all social medias, especially Clubhouse, because I have done now 2 podcast episodes on Clubhouse, and that's actually where Kelly and I connected. And that's where I initially got introduced to you, and I started following you, and then, made the decision to reach out. And now we're here talking, from across different parts of the country. So it's just amazing that's the
power of Clubhouse. I'm loving Clubhouse.
It's something, it's definitely a phenomenon, and I'm not 100% quite sure how I feel about it, because I do spend a lot of time on Clubhouse, and sometimes I wonder if I'm wasting my time or if I'm actually doing something good.
You have to, by the way, you're frozen on my camera, so I'm just going to look straight down the barrel, and it's going to be very intimidating, I'm sure, for people watching, for me to stare right into your souls.
Let me see if I can fix that really quick, because
it's probably my internet. The Wi-Fi in Australia is so dodgy. It's prehistoric.
I'm frozen on my end too. Just a second. Well,
got it. Good. It's not me for once.
Nope.
No wonder there's not many Aussies on Clubhouse, because Wi-Fi here is actually shocking.
Really?
So I would just recommend people on Clubhouse. It is an incredible tool for meeting industry folk, connecting with people over all sectors. I would just say be very intentional with your time on Clubhouse, because as soon as people join, they don't sleep for 3 days. It's a common occurrence. And it's very, very addicting. But if you have an intention, like I want to learn about psychedelics, mental health, business, whatever specific thing, if you're going on and treating it like a crash course in a certain topic, it can be so beneficial, because there are these masterclasses going on all the time on each topic. I host a weekly show Saturday every 6 p.m. Pacific on Could Your Life Be a Movie? And there's people coming up and sharing stories they've never shared with anyone in their life, to producers, directors, writers, people who can actually do something with that. So there's so many different avenues you can go down on Clubhouse, and it can be incredibly powerful. Like you said, we're being able to connect and make things happen really, really quickly. It's like a conduit. It's this like super highway into making things happen, taking you where you want to go. And the connections that are happening are absolutely insane.
I agree. Yeah, I've witnessed some amazing things happening on there, and it's definitely the unique format of Clubhouse, I think, allows for that kind of spontaneity almost. It's I think it's fascinating. I mean, I'm not going to stop using it. I'm going to, keep jumping on, listening to your club and to all the other ones that I follow. I would love to talk about what is coming up next for you. Like, what are you working on? What's on your mind in terms of future projects or current projects? What's happening, Kelly?
Yeah, so I've been meaning to write. I have started writing, but I've been meaning to pick back up writing a novel that I had started a few years back. And it's based on losing that friend I mentioned earlier, Lindsay Hawley. And then I actually went on this like soul searching journey through Southeast Asia, where I actually followed in her footsteps. All the places that she went to, I found in her travel blog, and I took over her nonprofit called Give Backpackers. So that was me carrying on her legacy. And through that, I went to volunteer in Cambodia, where she had, and met people there that she knew, and went to the temples she had visited. And I had this beautiful experience through Cambodia, Myanmar, India, Nepal, and Singapore and Thailand. And so I want to tell this story of loss, but also of the magic and beauty that can come out of it. When you lose someone, you can find yourself through that exploration, and that the deep, dark depression I went into after it actually elevated me higher than I had ever been when I could work through it. So it's a spiritual tale. It's a romantic tale. It's a travel story. It's really, really fun. It's kind of going to be like Eat, Pray, Love too. So
that's amazing.
I want to finish writing that and hopefully make that into a movie one day.
Writing a novel or a book is something that's always been so intimidating to me. And so I respect you for that. And I'm really enjoying just getting to know you. There's so much depth to a person when you just start a conversation that's authentic. And I think I'm learning more and more about that on Clubhouse, not to keep coming back to Clubhouse, but I really do urge filmmakers to get on there and start interacting and creating connections, because it can happen. Like you said, it's the speed highway. It can happen very fast. And I have seen people get jobs. I've seen people get, potential connections in the industry. So definitely worth it. Amazing. Okay. So, I could keep talking to you, Kelly. My camera is acting up, so much.
Yeah, no, I'm looking straight at the camera now because you're frozen again.
So much for having a beautiful shot, right? I think it's the battery. No matter. I have a couple more questions for you. Where can our filmmakers go to find out more about you?
Yeah, so Instagram is my most active profile. So I am on Instagram. It's the same name that should show up here, Kelly Pantaleoni. And then through that, you can find the movie on mental health I made, 40 Seconds, and my nonprofit, Give Backpackers. So you can go down any avenue you want. You can also see on my IGTV the 50 Shades of Quarantine clips. And Vimeo actually came out with a new streaming site where you can kind of create your own channel. So I'm going to be playing around with that soon. So I will be posting that link when I have finalized the page, and I'll be hosting the short film 50 Shades of Quarantine there. I'm on all the platforms really under my name, but yeah, I think Instagram's the best one. And you can check out my website as well through that link in bio. There's a whole list of different sites on my personal website, and
KellyPantaleoni.com. Mm-hmm. So filmmakers, please go follow, check out some of her IMDb stuff. Watch 50 Shades of Quarantine. Watch 40 Seconds. It's a beautiful, sentimental film. I I was definitely touched by it. Last question for you, Kelly, and this one's a doozy. It's definitely tripped up a few of my guests. What is your desert island movie? So if you could only watch one film for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my God, no wonder this trips people up because like I said before, I can never narrow it down to one. I have a top 5. So I'm just going to list them off as I keep working through this. So yeah, it's Titanic, Forrest Gump, Moulin Rouge, Avatar, and Interstellar. It's quite a gamut of different films there. Sci-fi, romance, drama, love it all. But I think if I was on a desert island, I wouldn't want anything too sad. So that knocks out Moulin Rouge and Titanic. So we're left with Interstellar's quite emotional too. So I think we're left with Avatar and Forrest Gump. I think I would stick with Avatar because it's very uplifting, it's fun, it's inspiring, and it's otherworldly, which I think I would need on an island because Forrest Gump would make me just too sad to be missing out on society and the way things are.
I love that stream of consciousness that you just you'll never be bored with Avatar, right on the desert island. Amazing.
Yeah, no, there's so much going on, and because I could compare the island to being on another planet, and I would just have to, it's mind over matter really. So, and this is why I think I thrived during the pandemic, because I made my isolated life like heaven on earth, or the closest I could get to it. I made it my bliss, and I learned to find bliss in the simplest things. So I think if you can kind of just accept where you're at, obviously always striving for more, but if you're on an island, you're kind of stuck. Just accepting where you're at, making the most of it and enjoying it, and telling yourself whatever you have to tell yourself to get through it.
Accept where you are at, filmmakers. All right, Kelly, thank you so much for your time, your knowledge, and your insight. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being on Filmmaker Secrets podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'll see you on my show on Clubhouse.
If you like that, then you are going to love my Cine Racing Challenge. This is a 7-day filmmaking competition where your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write, shoot, and edit a short 60-second film in just 7 days for your one chance to win with over $10,000 in prizes. So head over to cineracing.com. That's cineracing.com to get registered. Spots are filling up fast and the timer is ticking before the next Cine Racing Challenge launches. So be sure to head over to cineracing.com right now to get registered. I'll see you over there.